If an AI tool reassures you that your symptoms are nothing serious, and it turns out to be cancer, who is responsible? If a chatbot tells you something is urgent, and it isn't, but you lose sleep for weeks, who carries emotional weight? I had a patient come in recently after her SkinSpot app flagged a new lesion as highly suspicious. She panicked and made an urgent appointment to see me. Fortunately, my clinical assessment found no suspicious features. Because she's one of my long-term patients, she was reassured quickly by my assessment. Trust already existed between us. That person-to-person trust built over years cannot be replicated by an app. But here's the quieter questions. Who answers for what happened before you walked into my room? That is where the real fear begins. When people say doctors fear AI, it sounds as though we are worried about being replaced or that we are anti technology. Far from it, that is not the core issue. The issue is responsibility. Let me give you some context. I'm 57. I trained in a very different era. In medical school, assignments were handwritten, corrected by hand, and then retyped on the old typewriter. We searched for references using index catalogs and physical library volumes. There was no EndNote, no Excel, no instant digital search. By the time I completed my PhD around 1999 to 2001, everything had shifted. I learned spreadsheets, drew graphs digitally, structured tables and figures in Word. We moved from transparencies to PowerPoint and saved data on floppy disks. So I'm not resistant to technology. I've lived through its evolution. I adapted, I learned, and I embraced what was useful. But here is what did not change: responsibility. Across Australia, the UK, and the US, regulators are clear. If a tool diagnoses, treats, and directs care, it must meet regulatory standards. That means accountability. So general chatbots do not carry that duty. They generate information, but they do not carry duty of care. The duty still rests with the doctor. If harm occurs, the algorithm does not appear before a tribunal and it does not lose registration. The doctor does. That asymmetry makes clinicians cautious. Indemnity organizations have already said it plainly. You remain responsible. You must verify outputs. You must protect patient data, and you must document how AI was used. Now, here's something many people do not realize. In 2024, about 1 in 5 UK GPs reported using AI tools like ChatGPT for daily tasks, mostly drafting letters or structuring notes. So, this is not doctors versus AI. Many doctors are already using it carefully. The question is where the boundary sits. So let me bring this back to my own practice in skin cancer medicine. We already use digital dermoscopy. Images are stored on the computer, software assists with pattern recognition. Some systems generate probability scores for suspicious lesions. At the cutting edge, AI image analysis can be very advanced, but in routine practice, it remains limited. It is expensive, still evolving, and false positives are very common. Most importantly, a probability score does not account for the person sitting in front of me. Their history, their previous lesions, their risk factors, their pattern over time does. Clinical judgment is not just pattern recognition, it is pattern recognition in context. Very few of my patients arrive with an AI diagnosis. Most of them are older, longer term patients. Trust has been built over many years. And it is my previous decisions and management that give them confidence. Do I rely on AI diagnosis during my consultations? Hardly. The false positives I find are too frequent. A suspiciousness percentage is not the same as judgment. Could that change in the future? Possibly. Technology evolves, but at this moment, AI assists, it does not decide. The doctor takes the final responsibility and accountability. And this is where fear becomes clearer. It is not fear of technology, it is fear of an accountability gap. Imagine a patient uses AI for abdominal pain. The chatbot reassures them it's gastritis. They delay care, and days later, it is a perforated appendix. On the opposite side, a minor symptom is escalated into something catastrophic, and the patient arrives anxious, primed to distrust reassurance. AI tends to create two risks: false reassurance on one hand, and unnecessary alarm on the other. Both shift emotional and legal pressure to the clinicians. And there is another layer: AI answers confidently. It does not hesitate or naturally express uncertainty, but medicine often lives in uncertainty. We review, adjust, and observe over time. Confidence without responsibility is dangerous territory. Now, let me be clear. I use ChatGPT. I use it for research, much like I once used Google. It read, it output, but I read its output through the filter of training and experience. I test its claims, I question its conclusions. When I use it, I interrogate it like a sharp lawyer, honing in on any exaggeration, omission, or half truths. AI is powerful when it is interrogated. It is risky when it is trusted blindly. I do not fear AI because it is intelligent. I'm cautious because I carry responsibility. When I make a clinical judgment, I stand behind it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I answer for it. That is part of the moral contract of medicine. AI does not carry that contract. So when you hear that doctors fear AI, understand what lies underneath. We do not fear intelligence and we do not fear progress. We are cautious because responsibility has not moved. If reassurance is wrong, if alarm is misplaced, if harm could have been avoided, someone must answer. And that someone is still your doctor. Technology has advanced quickly, accountability has not moved. In the next episode, we'll look at another layer, not responsibility, but confidence, and why advice that sounds certain can sometimes be the most dangerous kind.